fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to another episode of the Falcoholic Live. I'm your host, Kevin Knight, here to bring you another edition of Falcons 2021 Free Agency, our series looking into what the Falcons can do in free agency, also breaking down the basics. Last time, we broke down some priority re-signings for the Falcons and players the team needed to bring back, and today we're going to extend our search to NFL free agents, starting with the running back position. We all know that the team needs to add talent here. This is a group that has lost a lot of players over the course of the offseason. Todd Gurley is a free agent. Brian Hill is a free agent. So that means just Ito Smith and Quadri Olison are returning from 2020. Team also signed former undrafted free agent Tony Brooks James to a reserve future contract, so he may potentially factor into things as well. But going into 2021 with just Ito Smith and Quadri Olison is not something that's likely to happen. I think the general consensus is that the Falcons are likely to add someone in the draft, and I agree with that, but there are some interesting players out there in free agency for the team to consider. So today, we're going to take a look at 5 names that I personally think the team should look into. A lot will depend upon their price tags and these sorts of things that we don't really know yet because their free agency hasn't really gotten started, but these are all guys that I think are legitimate options for this team. So we're going to jump right in to some free agent targets for the Falcons in 2021. So, like I said, we're going to be taking a look at 5 running backs and throwing in a quick note on the 6th one just in case for the Falcons. And I think all of these are interesting names. All of these are players the Falcons could potentially go after. So the first one we're going to take a closer look at is former Colts running back Marlon Mack. Mack is a bit of an interesting case because when he's been healthy, he's been a very good starter. He's averaged over 4.5 yards per carry. In 2018 to 2019, he had 17 rushing touchdowns in that period. He had a 1,000-yard season and another one where he was very close to reaching 1,000 yards, and he'll be just 25 going into 2021. So normally, a player like this, you would think that they are going to be one of the top free agents in their class. But Mack had the unfortunate timing of suffering a season-ending Achilles injury in the first game of 2020, and those injuries are devastating for running backs. They're very difficult to come back from. There have been a few notable examples of it happening now, but it hurt his stock in a major way. Mack also has been dealing with minor injuries basically throughout his entire career. He's never played in all 16 games, but that will make his price tag extremely affordable. Like, he'll probably be looking for some sort of $1 million prove-it deal or something like that, because he might miss most of training camp, maybe even all of it, depending on how long his recovery takes. And teams will not really have a good idea of how effective he'll be in 2021 as a result. But we know how good he can be when healthy. We know that he's very capable of carrying the load in his zone scheme attack. And I think that Mack has a lot of potential still. So I think it's a gamble worth taking for Atlanta. He'll be cheap. I think the Falcons are likely to add a rookie in the draft as well, either way. So if Marlon Mack works out, you can have a great two-headed attack. If he's not what you hoped for, you're out $1 million, and you give your rookie the load. Ito Smith takes a lot of carries. Not the worst situation in the world, but I think it's worth taking the gamble for someone of Marlon Mack's talent. And if he does play well, he could potentially go somewhere else next year and get you a decent comp pick, maybe a 4th or 5th rounder when it's all said and done. So definitely something to keep in mind there as well. The next name for me is Matt Breida, formerly of San Francisco and most recently with the Dolphins. Breida's always just been kind of a weird case. He definitely seems like a guy who's more suited to like a change of pace role, but whenever he's played, he's been awesome. I mean, in the wide zone in San Francisco, he was amazing. I mean, averaging over 5 yards per carry with Shanahan. We shouldn't necessarily expect that with anyone else because Kyle Shanahan's just a running back whisperer. But over his entire career, he's averaged 4.9 yards per carry. He's also a good receiver. So he's the type of guy I think you'd want to be your RB2 or RB 1B in a two-headed attack. Breida's also just 26. Like, he's still young. I feel like he's been in the NFL forever, but just 26 years old, and he's coming off what has basically been a down year in Miami. He wasn't really played much. they gave him $3 million. They didn't really use him a lot. I know he dealt with some injuries there as well, but his price is going to be low as a result. He didn't have a ton of production, didn't play in a lot of games. So the Falcons could get Breida on a very affordable deal. He could be an ideal guy to kind of bridge the gap for a rookie, someone who could help carry the load there. So Breida's definitely one of the ones I would keep an eye on if I was a Falcons fan. Next name we'll talk about is Jamaal Williams from Green Bay. For those of you looking for a bigger running back, Jamaal Williams is probably going to fit that bill for you. He's experienced in the zone scheme with Green Bay. They did more inside zone stuff, but he's certainly capable of the outside zone as well. Like I said, good size, 6'3", 213. This is a guy that has shown he can carry the load. When Aaron Jones has been hurt, Jamaal Williams became Green Bay's feature back. Over the past 2 years in particular, he's shown that he's a capable runner. He's averaged almost 4.3 yards per carry. He's had 70 catches also over the past 2 seasons. So someone who can contribute in a versatile way. The thing with Jamaal Williams will be his price tag, because he hasn't had explosive production. He hasn't really done anything to make you think he would be like this great starter by himself. He's more of, an RB2 or an RB1B, kind of in a similar way to Matt Breida. So the price tag is going to be a big piece of the puzzle here. If he's willing to take, a reasonable deal to come to Atlanta, I think he would make a lot of sense here. But if he's looking for starter money and a guaranteed starter job, probably not going to get it here. So that's the real hang up with Williams. But I do think he's a good fit for this offense. In sort of a similar vein, next guy we'll talk about is Mike Davis. Falcons fans, I'm sure, know him very well because he was in Carolina this past year. Ended up getting a chance to start after McCaffrey's injury. Had a pretty solid year in 2020. Didn't have a great rushing average, 3.9 yards per carry, but we all know Carolina's offensive line was not good. Also caught almost 60 passes, so he's versatile. He's generally been a backup his entire career, but he did get a chance to start in 2018 for San Francisco as well and had a great season. So Davis is a versatile player. I mean, he could contribute on all 3 downs. He's a good potential bridge starter, someone who can come in and carry the load while you're getting a rookie up to speed, or if you miss out on your top guys. The price tag should be fairly low. I know he was the starter for Carolina, but like I said, it wasn't incredible production there. He was fine, but I don't think he's going to be someone who's demanding a big contract. Also, I believe he'll be just 27 or 28, so still plenty of tread left on the tires, especially since he hasn't really taken a ton of carries outside of maybe 1 or 2 seasons at this point. So Davis is certainly a name that I would keep in mind. The last guy is more of a depth guy, but this is Theo Riddick. You guys, if you watch the show, you probably heard me sing Riddick's praises because, look, he's a cheap, experienced veteran. He's going to be looking for vet minimum probably. He didn't even get a contract in 2019, which is wild to me, but that's how it is for running backs sometimes. But he played most of his career in Detroit, spent the last year in Las Vegas, but he's been consistently one of the NFL's best receiving backs. Didn't get a lot of opportunities in Las Vegas. I don't know why. I don't know why they even bothered signing him, but he will be 30 in 2021, but as I said, he's a receiver. He didn't really take a lot of carries in Detroit, so he doesn't have the tread that you would expect for a running back of that age. He hasn't been the featured guy or anything like that. Still averaged 8.6 yards per reception last season, which is very respectable for a running back. So he could fill that receiving specialist role for the Falcons. They don't really have anyone like that at this point. He also would give them some veteran depth. They have an extremely young running back room. It's only likely to get younger with the draft pick. So I do like Riddick's fit in Atlanta. He can carry the ball a little bit, but he's more of that receiving specialist. So getting someone in here who we know can catch the ball, we know can be someone you can even split out wide. I mean, Detroit would even play him in the slot at times. I like that fit. He'll be maybe the cheapest of all the options listed here as well. So just to get depth in here, I do like the idea of Riddick. The last guy I'll just mention, just in case he were to get out of Kansas City, would be Darrell Williams. He is a restricted free agent for the Chiefs, and I would be kind of shocked if they don't tender him. I suspect they'll probably tender him at like the 2nd round level or something like that, similar to what the Falcons did with Brian Hill this previous season. But if Williams was to get out of Kansas City, I think that he has very good starter upside. I think he'll be looking to go prove it somewhere. So he'll be more expensive, but I really do like his fit. He's a big, decisive runner, someone who would very much fit Arthur Smith's running back mold for what he was looking for in Tennessee. So, Darrell Williams, a name to keep an eye on perhaps, but I would be pretty surprised if he makes it out of Kansas City at this point. So there you have it, guys. 5 running backs for the Falcons to keep an eye on. We will be taking a look at other positions going forward too. But these are the guys that I would start with if you're looking at running backs for Atlanta. There's a ton of guys out there. There's a ton of guys on the market, but take a look at these guys first. Go from there. Well, there you have it, Falcons fans. That is a sampling of some of the free agents that are out there on the market. Like I said, there are a ton of them. So if you're interested in taking a deeper dive into who all is available, Over the Cap, as I've mentioned before, a great resource. They do have a free agency section where they will list out all the players by position. You can sort it. They will tell you what the player made in the previous season, how many snaps they took, what their previous team was, all of that good data that you're looking for. All there. I can't recommend Over the Cap enough. They're a great site. So check them out if you want more information about the other running backs that are out there. But I do think these are the main guys the team will be interested in outside of maybe some like vet minimum type signings. And like I said, I don't think Gurley and Brian Hill are coming back. So they're probably adding someone in the draft. I think that's a pretty safe bet. But other than that, they probably will be looking for depth. And I think these names are all potential guys that could come in and contribute and not break the bank for Atlanta. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday night for another edition of the live show. So if you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to look at that. Please check out our Discord server if you're interested in joining the community there. Also our Patreon. We just had our first patron Q&A. That was a lot of fun. So if you want to get in on that type of stuff, check out the Patreon. All the details are there. It's patreon.com/Falcoholic Live. Please do, if you do the Twitter stuff, follow the show at Falcoholic Live, and you can follow me at Falcoholic Kevin. And as always, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. We really appreciate your support on YouTube as well. Thank you all for watching. And we will continue our series with another offensive position on Friday. So look out for that video as well. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week and go Falcons.